Hello ladies and gentlemen, my name is Evan and welcome back to my channel of Vanishing Evan, and today I'm going to show you start to finish how to extract 3D models from Call of Duty, Modern Warfare, Warzone, and Cold War. You know, it works for any of those games, but it's going to be a really good start to finish with very little editing tutorial so that you guys can just watch how I do it and hopefully extract your own models so you can use it for whatever you need. You know, you can use this process to get models so that you can mod other games by putting Call of Duty models into it. You can make cool renders and wallpapers and stuff like that in Blender. You could even, I was looking into this recently because I got a 3D printer. You can make 3D models of like the different weapons from Call of Duty and just using the files straight out of the game, and it's super cool. If you have any questions or anything, feel free to comment down below. And also, just recently, well, not super recently, a little while back, couple weeks, I started a Discord, which is for my YouTube channel, and you guys can go there, ask any questions that you want. There's a bunch of different sections. It's pretty cool. Go there, talk to people, I guess. I don't know. Just figured I'd mention in one of my videos that the Discord is there. And without further ado, let's get right into this. Now, first thing that you're going to need is this software. It's called, what is it? Greyhound. It's going to be first link down in the description. Well, after the Discord, of course. Actually, no, I'll put the Discord below it, you know, since it's important to the tutorial. But basically, what you need is this thing called Greyhound. I have it all right here. You're going to download it and then extract it or whatever. Basically, you're going to get a zip file, I believe, and then you're going to put that zip file in a good spot, and then you're going to unzip it, you know, or you can just like double click on it and then just copy and paste what's in the file to another folder. It's not that crazy, but after you download it and do all that, you're going to have this application called Greyhound. And when you open it, this is what you're going to see. There's an update for it, but I haven't gotten around to installing it because I know this version really well. I'm pretty sure it's just some bug fixes, but I'm stingy like that. But then after you have Greyhound all opened up and stuff, after you have Call of Duty running on your computer, because it will have to run on your computer, you're going to press load game, and then this is where you get the files, okay? And the next thing that you have to do is open up Call of Duty, which I have right here. Bada bing, bada boom. We're just going to launch it. Hopefully there's no new updates or anything like that, but also I hope that you guys like my green screen. I know that my hair is a little too frizzy for it. It kind of makes my hair look green, but it's whatever. I think I like this new kind of setup I'm doing for these videos. Okay, now that we have the game open, all we have to do is go into where you just have to basically find the 3D model that you want to extract. The way that it works is basically when you see a 3D model in game, it's kind of put into your computer's memory, and well, I'm pretty sure, like, I don't know if this is exactly how it works, but the way I think about it at least is Greyhound looks at your computer's memory for 3D models, and it can't extract stuff that you have not loaded. Basically, if that makes any sense, you just need to get the model that you want on screen, which is exactly what we're going to do today. We're just going to go full screen so I can close that. And then you can see right here I have Ghost as he's on screen right now. But we're just going to go into, I didn't think this far ahead. What do we want to extract? To make this extra easy on myself, since I'm recording this and everything, I'm just going to extract Ghost. He's pretty easy to do since he's already loaded on screen, and since I haven't looked at 3D models of other characters, it'll actually narrow down my search if I didn't know his file name. Say I was using a character I didn't know the file name for, like a Cold War character or something. They usually have weird file names. A really good trick to do is to equip that character as your main character, and when you get to this loading screen that I'm at right now, you would just load the game, and then it would make it a lot easier to find their 3D model because it would be one of the only ones loaded when it comes to characters or whatever. Same goes for guns. If you're looking for a very specific gun model and you don't know the name of it, I recommend either equipping it if you can, just like this, like if I wanted to extract the MP5. And if it was something that you didn't own, like in the store, I would recommend going straight to the store, straight to that bundle, and just preview that 3D model. It helps narrow down your search exponentially. But now that we have Ghost loaded on screen, we can just go to Greyhound right here, and just press load game. And then it's gonna, you can see all the models that are being loaded right now. Also, it's really, I should have went over this a little while ago. The settings that you want for Greyhound are right here. You're gonna, if you're extracting 3D models, in this first tab that says in-game settings, you want everything else unchecked except for load X models from game. And that'll make it so that when you load the game, the 3D models pop up. If you wanted textures, you would uncheck this and click images and stuff. But we want 3D models, so we're going to do that. And under model settings, just copy what I have right here. It should, for the most part, work for you. One thing is that I use XNALara meshes because it basically, when you extract the character, it's going to make it so that their weight paints and skeleton come with them. It's really, really solid, and it works like, it's way faster than doing OBJ or something similar, or any of these other file formats, because you have to make a skeleton and a rig for those, and you lose all the weight painting and stuff. And if that makes any sense. This way is just a lot faster. The second link in the description will be a link to a Blender add-on that will allow you to import XNALara meshes and stuff like that. And if that's what you want. If you don't feel like getting that, I recommend changing this to OBJ. And that's really just down this this bottom half is just the file format that you're going to be getting from the game. And up here, I'd say the most important one is probably export all available LODs, levels of detail. Basically what that does is it makes it so that it'll export multiple versions of the model, like the low poly, the medium poly, and the high poly, and you know, some in-betweens. I do that because like it gives you the options, and it always guarantees that you're going to get the high poly version of the character. It takes up more room technically on your computer, but I have enough USB sticks and SSDs and stuff that I don't really worry about storage that much, because I'm a tech nerd guy and I spend my money on that kind of stuff. But yeah, just copy my settings here. Anim settings, you only have to change if you're exporting animations. Image settings, you only have to set up if you're exporting images. Same with sound. And GDT, I don't know what it does. I just leave it what it is by default, and it works perfectly. So now that I have all my settings set up, and you have copied all my stuff, we're just going to go back here. I'll press load game again. That's how you refresh it. You just press load game. And now we're going to search Ghost. My mic's kind of in the way, so that's a little bit awkward, but you know. And then everything that says placeholder, you really don't want that. These yellow text files and stuff, those are not useful. Also, it's a red flag whenever a model says bones 0, LODs 1. That means that it's probably not a very important model when you're looking for characters. See right here, it says that those are weapon charms, so it makes sense. But since they're placeholders, they're not actually loaded, you won't be able to extract them successfully. And what we want is in Warzone, all the character files are split up into body and head. So you're going to have to find the head and the body of the specific character that you want. And right here, it has loaded a bunch, because I searched Ghost, and he has a really good file name, which is not complicated at all and matches his character perfectly. That will not be the case for all characters. Sometimes, well, especially with Cold War characters, they'll have really weird names that don't match them at all. And it's just a matter of figuring it out, which is why I recommended doing that strategy I explained, where you just have them set to your favorite character, and then you start the game and they're the only one loaded. You can just search body, and then there will only be a couple loaded models of bodies, and then you'll be able to get the file name from that, if that makes sense. Sorry if I'm talking a little bit fast. There's a lot to talk about here, and I don't want to make this video too long. And basically, what we want is the head and the body. The arms aren't as important. They're the first-person character stuff. You would extract that if you wanted to do like first-person reload animations and stuff like that. But right now, we just want Ghost 2_3, and we're going to press export selected. Export, yeah. Oh. Then we're just going to find the corresponding head, because this says Western Ghost _2 _3. We're going to look for a head that says _2 _3 and press export selected, and then bada bing, bada boom, we're done exporting Ghost. He's all ready to go. We can close down Call of Duty. And actually, real quick, I'm going to also, let's just search, let's see if we can find it. I've never tried to extract the MP5, but let's try and make this work. MP5, we'll search for it. Of course, it has a weird file name, so what we're going to do is, we're going to type in WM for weapon, and we're going to look for the code for, well, the naming type for SMGs. So WM _ AR, you can see a bunch of those. Those are ARs like AKs, M4s, and we're just going to look for one that matches more with SMGs. It might just be SM or something like that. We're going to have to scroll down a lot. Those are the AR files. Hello, these are all different attachments. This is what it boils down to. LM, that's probably LMGs and stuff. Light machine guns. Gonna keep on scrolling. It probably is it's SM, I think, maybe. _ SM. Search. Okay, that worked. And now we can just look. See how I searched WM _ SM, which is weapon _ SMG. It's the abbreviated version of it. There's a lot of these that are loaded. So, we just look for one that has a lot of loaded files and see T9 heavy. That, when it says T9, it sounds like a Cold War weapon file to me, and we're looking for an SMG, the MP5 from Modern Warfare. T9 burst pistol, that's not what we want. Okay, I think I just found it. Weapon _ SM _ M Papa 5. So we're just gonna search _ M. Is that Papa? Okay, Papa 5, and see what things come up. I think that's the name for the MP5. And now I'm just gonna search _ res for receiver, and this is what's going to pop up. When it comes to guns, the main they're broken up into multiple parts, but the main part of the gun is the receiver, and then you also need the barrel and the magazine. Those are the three main components for most guns 3D models. There's also things like attachments, like silencers, and different scopes that you can find if you want those, along with grips. And basically, when you want to get a gun model, you're going to search for the receiver. Most important thing. Did I extract this? I can't remember. Export selected, just to be safe. Also, it's a really good sign when guns have a lot of bones and some levels of detail. You can see right at the end here. And we're just going to search bar for barrel. Okay, we're just going to load this random barrel. And it should be the right one. And then mag for magazine, and we're just going to do this first one right here. Export selected. I think that's all we'll need for the MP5. The magazine, the barrel, and the receiver. That'll be enough to make it look like a full gun. And also, you can find, sometimes it's not WM, it's VM. You can see right here. I'm not, VM, I get sometimes worse results for, but basically, there's a lot of different versions of the models and stuff, and if you want to find something like a specific blueprint or version of a gun, you'll just have to export a bunch of different receivers and then figure out which, it says like V22 at the end, those are different blueprints, so you just extract a bunch of them and look at them in Blender until you figure out which version is the correct blueprint, and then you can use that to find the rest of the parts for the blueprint. Yada yada yada. We have everything we need, so we're just going to close out of that, and we're going to close out of Call of Duty. And would you like to quit the desktop? Yes, I would. And now we can go into Blender and import and set up our models. Okay, so I'm just going to open up a new blend file, and whew, it's really hot in my room. It's like, it has been scorching today where I am here in Maine, which is surprising, but I'm just going to delete the default cube, and then I'm going to press go to File, Import, and then XNALara XPS. This will not be in your Blender unless you download the add-on in the description, and all you have to do is go to Edit, Preferences, Install under Add-ons, and then find the zip file that you downloaded. You don't have to extract it, I don't think, and just click Install, find it, click on it, and then make sure it's turned on, and then that will let you go to File, Import, XNALara XPS, and you can just do this top option right here. You don't have to do that if you're doing an OBJ, but I recommend that format because it'll have the characters already rigged, ready to pose, and it saves so much time. But if I just go to my, it's in my SSD, and then the files, after you extract them, they will be in the same place that you have Greyhound. So if you have it on your desktop in a folder, it's going to be in that folder, in a folder in there called exported files. It's right near your Greyhound stuff, and you just go in there, and then it'll make a folder for the game, and then you go in there, and it'll make a new folder every time you extract a different kind of model. I've exported models, materials, images, and animations before, so I have a folder for each one of those. If you just downloaded models, you'll only have a model folder. We're going to go right in there, and I have it set up so that it's just going to show them in order of date modified. And right here, we're just going to go to the receiver, and then we're going to have a bunch of different models right here, which is because we had export all available LODs on. So what we're going to do is see size on the end here and pick the one with the highest size, 2 megabytes in this case. And then we're going to click Import XNALara XPS. And it looks like I got it right! Yay! I've never gotten the MP5 model before, but using, you know, some quick pattern recognition skills, oh dear, I was able to find the right file for the MP5 just by the naming quirks in the code for the game. And you can see we have the receiver of the MP5. Oh, I forgot, you also need the stock for the gun to make it complete. But that's fine. I'm not going to need it for this example, but just for the sake of this gun, we're just going to go in here, go up, and we're going to import the barrel. Once again, you want the highest, what's it called? The highest megabytes one. I can't think of it. My brain's kind of fried right now. I didn't wake up too long ago, I guess. But then you just line it up with how it looks in game. I'm not sure, how does this go? It's a good idea to look at the gun in game while you're doing this, just so that you know you're not messing it up horribly. But you know, that might be the wrong barrel. That might, you know what, whatever. I found the MP5, okay? And I might have messed up the barrel, or just gotten a weird looking one. I'm pretty sure I got the right magazine. Let me go File, Import, XPS, Model, up, and then Mag. Is this the right magazine? I wonder if it is. Oh yeah, that's the right magazine. So that's probably just a weird looking barrel that I found. But you can just line that up. It'll all be the right scale. You just have to line up certain things. And you can see right here that with the gun, if I click on all these like weird lines, that's actually the skeleton of the gun. And if you go to pose mode, the gun is actually ready to, like it's rigged the same way it is in game. So like you could do a weapon animation. Also, sometimes there's overlapping model stuff, like right here, I think there's 2 rails, and you can just delete them because they're probably slightly different versions of the same model that show up with certain attachments, and you can just delete the ones that you don't want. So in this case, let's see, I wonder why this is the way it is. If I delete this and then grab this, oh wow, this has a lot of these. It's kind of wacky, but yeah, you learn a lot about the game and stuff just by looking at the files, which is cool. And then also, I know what you're thinking, what if I want to texture it? Well, good sir, if you had the same settings as me, it will actually, if we go into shading, the shading tab is where we do our texturing. The way that I do it is the textures are in the place where you exported them. So what you're going to have to do, first off, I don't like the XPS shader, so I go into this shader tab right down here. It's a circle split into 4 parts, and I click on this under surface, and then the surface tab, it says XPS shader. I click on that and I change it to principal to BSDF because it's just better in my opinion. It has a lot more control to it, and it's going to make the model white instead of pink. And all you're going to want to do is press is it just A? Yeah, just press A after having that selected, and then hit Control L, and then link materials. Now your entire model is using the same material, and then you can rename that material to default, which I just did. Now we're going to go to the main part of the receiver, and we're going to click this button to make it a new material, and we're going to name it main underscore res for receiver. Now what we're going to do is we're going to open up our place where we extracted our files to. So for me, it's the same place where Greyhound is. You go to exported files, the game that you exported files from, you go to models, and then you find it. So right here, this is the receiver, and then you go to this folder on top called images, and then there's going to be a lot of stuff here for the different parts, and we just want the let's see, I think this is the receiver, and it's going to be all these different file types. And what you're going to see here is this is one of the big issues, okay, that I had to figure out how to fix. But I'm pretty sure that wait one second, let me just look through all these real quick just to make sure I get this right. This is the camo blend, this is the normal map, obviously, thermal, thin film. So this first one right here, I believe, is the it's the color texture. It's the regular texture for the gun, and it's what makes it give it the most obvious detail, the color. And the thing is that this is actually very transparent, and when you put it on the gun, let's just drag it in and drag color to color on top with the base color. And wait, oops, messed that up. I gotta zoom in a little bit. But you're gonna see right off the bat that the gun, oh wait, actually this is the wrong file. One second. You know it's the wrong one because it does not line up. So oops, Command Z, we're gonna delete that, and let's go back into this folder. Which one is it? Maybe it's upper. If we go to upper and we drag in the okay, this is probably it. This is it. This is the color map, and we drag this in and drag it in the base color. Actually, this one looks really good. I don't think that this one has the same issue I was trying to describe a moment ago. But let me just double check real quick. This actually looks pretty good. Just in case though, I'm gonna open it in GIMP real quick, which is my photo editing software that I use. Where's open with? There it is, GIMP. And then I'm just gonna test something real quick. If it's I'll just cut it out of the video if it doesn't lead into anything. Oh wait, oh look at this. You see how it's see-through? That's really bad. We don't want that at all. You can see those squares through it. This is a PNG file, and the more see-through it is, just you lose the detail and it's less solid looking. It'll make it look gray or black, and you do not want that. It's really bad. I don't know why they're like this. There's probably a way that they the way that the game engine reads it so that it actually works better in game, but we're not using the same game engine that Call of Duty uses. We're using Blender, which will not recognize this transparency as anything other than loss of detail. So what you want to do to fix this is open this in a photo editing software. You'll only have to do this with color maps like this, and you have to do this with a lot of characters and stuff too. But what you're going to do is you're just going to select the layer. You can do this, I believe, in Photoshop, or you can download GIMP like I have. Just look it up. It's a really good free photo editing software. And what you're going to want to do, I believe it's Control-Shift-D, and it will duplicate that. And basically what that does is the more you duplicate, the less transparency you'll have until you have a much more solid looking image. And then you can just go to File, and then export as, and then we'll just call this new text. Actually, we'll call it fixed text for fixed texture. And I'm just gonna put this onto my desktop real quick. Fixed text dot PNG, export it, and then we're just gonna close. Well, just minimize all this. Why is that open? But now we have this file right here, and I'm going to go into Blender. And then I'm just going to drag this in, and then you can see right here we're going to look at this model, Actually, I'm going to turn up the roughness for it a little bit. But now, look at what happens when I drag in this color instead of the other one. It looks better. There's less gray. It's more, the details more there. The color's better. And this was not a very extreme version of this. In some cases, you can get away with not doing that, not duplicating it and getting rid of the transparency. If you had just left it the other way, it doesn't look horrible in this case, but in some cases, like with characters that you export, if you don't do this, the character will be just black. It happened in the thumbnail of my last video with the guy with his dog. I did not know about this issue, and I kind of was just, I didn't know how to fix it or anything, so I thought that's just what it was like when you extracted it. And so the dog in that thumbnail is very dark, and he has like no detail in his face or ears. And same thing with the guy next to him. It kind of worked because the character had a black outfit, but I lost a majority of his detail. And that's how you fix that issue if your character's textures are looking kind of weird. Now, to finish this gun texture up, what you would want to do is press Shift A. Actually, you'd probably want to do this on the default texture, so we're just going to go back to that. Press Shift A, and then go down to Vector, and then Normal Map. Oh my god, I'm sweating. It's so hot in my room right now. But you just go to Normal, and then plug that into Normal, and then set the strength. It depends on if you're using Eevee or Cycles. If you're using Eevee, I recommend setting this to like 0.3, and if you're using Cycles, I recommend something higher, like 0.8. It just, it'll affect the detail of your, like the normal map and stuff, which I'll get more into in just a moment, but I'm just going to add that here too. And the reason we did that on the default file is so that we don't have to do this literally every time we make a new texture. And what we're going to do is go back to those files, and you can see this weird looking blue, pink, purple, little bit of green, and that's the normal map texture. They're very unique. And you're going to drag that in, drag color into color down here at the bottom with normal map, and you're going to change color space to non-color. And then this, what it does, it just adds more detail to the mesh. Let's turn up the strength so you can really see the effects. What the hell? It's not doing anything. What happens if I unplug this? Huh. Apparently, what am I doing? Okay, yeah, it's very subtle on this mesh. The normal map is not extremely important in this case, but in some situations, a model will look a lot more flat if you don't do this process. Sometimes, a lot of times, you can get away with not doing it, but with a lot of character meshes, it's very important to have the normal map if you want that extra level of detail and more bumps and detail in the way the shadows reflect on the characters. It's important, but in this case, it doesn't look like the MP5 actually is affected very much by the normal map, but this is just a process that I would recommend going through with most models. Just going to get rid of that old texture, and you would repeat this for the entire thing. So right now we have the main receiver done. We'd go down to the magazine. We would press the duplicate to make a new one, rename it to mag, and then what we would do is go into this, go up, and then find the magazine, and then we'd go in there, images, mag, and then we find this. It's the color texture. It looks really white, which means it's transparent. You would go to open with GIMP in this case, or Photoshop, whichever one you use. Control Shift D to duplicate the layers. See how it's like really dark? Well, really transparent, I mean. You're going to do it until you don't see any of the squares anymore. In this case, it makes a major difference because that 45 wasn't even there before. And now what we're going to do is File, Export As, and then go to the desktop, and I'm just going to call this 1234321 and export it. You have given the file name does not have, okay, file extension, so .png, and then export, and then after that does that. I'm just going to close out of this because it's probably not good for my computer's memory to have so many layers, but it's necessary to get rid of that transparency. And now what we're going to do is we're going to drag this in and look at the difference between this. That magazine looks very black, very, like you can barely see the 45, and this is the effect that I was talking about that was not as noticeable with that other part. Now I'm just going to go into here and going to drag in that new texture, not really new, the fixed texture, and look at the difference between these two. It's going to be night and day. Look at that. That looks so much more clear. It reflects the game files themselves much better. And now all we have to do is plug in the normal map, which is right here. It's the weird looking purple, blue, like really surreal looking texture. You can't really miss it. Color to color. Whoopsie. Color to color. And set it to non-color. And what you're going to see here is, I think this might actually be more noticeable than it was with the other one. Look at what happens when we unplug it. It's much more flat, and when we plug it in, wait, one sec, plug this into normal, see, you get a lot more detail, and it's just the way that light's reflecting off the mesh. It makes it less flat and boring, and adds more detail, and makes it look more like it does in-game. And you just repeat this process for the entire gun, and you would also try to track down the barrel, and also you would find the stock. And also the reason why my MP5 is green is because it's the blueprint that I'm using. It came with the which one was it? The Texas Chainsaw Massacre bundle. It has like a bloody dismemberment effect and stuff. It's really cool. But that's how I extract weapon models and stuff. And it's pretty much the exact same process for characters. And also you can look at this in rendered mode. It's the files are actually usually really big, so what I like to do when I import them is I'll press S to scale, and then point, and then 5. Well, actually 0.05 I think is what I do. S.04 or 5 or whatever you end up doing, just make sure it's consistent. But that will make the model much smaller. Also, I recommend not having the rest of your scene selected when you do it. But we don't even need the camera or anything for this scene, so I don't really care. But it's just a good idea to have the models downsized a little bit, because it's harder to do renders at like massive scales, I've noticed. Also, characters will be ginormous when you put them in. So right now I'll just go to File, Import, XNALara, XPS, and find Ghost, so I can show you him. Go into X models, and then his head will be right here. You want the highest one, which in this case is 1.2 megabytes. And you can see right here, here's Ghost. And what you're going to want to do is scale 0.04 or whatever other measurement you have decided. Just make sure it's the same for all models, so they're the correct size. And what we're going to do is, since he's facing down, rotate on the y-axis -90. Now he's facing upright. And also, you can see, just we have Ghost. He's not textured at all yet. You're going to have to do the same process that you did for the MP5 on Ghost. But also, we're going to import his body. So File, Import, XNALara, XPS. I think that I already had his body. So what I'm going to do is just search for it right now, Ghost. And we're just going to look for body right here. Ghost. Wait, this is Metal Ghost. Oh god, I might not have extracted his body correctly. I'm not gonna go through the process. I must have accidentally not extracted his body. What's Metal Ghost, I wonder? I forgot what that was. I've extracted so many models. I'm just gonna search body. Okay, so what bodies do I have? Oh yeah, here, I have Ghost. Body, Ghost. I think it was 2.3. This is one that we want. And then the highest detail, 6 megabytes. And import. I believe this should be the one that I want, with the hood and stuff and the black textures. But now I'm just going to scale 0.04 and then rotate on the X -90, R, X -90. Just press the buttons that I'm saying. They're shortcuts, or you can just not use the shortcuts. And now you're thinking, oh no, wait, oh god, this is not the correct one that I wanted. Oh well. I'm just doing this for example's sake. Yeah, I've done this before, and I just think that I extracted the wrong files or whatever. I think that there was some weird stuff with Cold War models getting mixed in or whatever on mine. But anyway, you just make sure you have the right character stuff. This is just an example, so it doesn't matter as much. The core concepts I'm trying to teach you will carry through either way, even if I have a mismatching body. Also, this is kind of cool. You can make it so the Ghost is wearing a different outfit than he is in game. But The way to line up the head with the body, I recommend going into the sideways view by pressing that green Y button, selecting the head, pressing grab on the Z axis, and just get it kind of lined up. Zoom in a lot on the head, and then you can go into this more simplified view, but make sure this top like line on the head right here, I'm just like, there's a bone right here and it's just right there, and then this bottom bone right here for the head, just make sure that they're overlapping really well. Actually, I think it's the bottom bone on this one, but yeah, right there, just make sure that these two bones are overlapping perfectly, and then that it's kind of weird because the head is not tailored for this model, but yeah, I think that's what you're supposed to do. See how the head fits pretty well. Not perfectly because this is not made for Ghost. And we have Ghost, we have his model, and what we would do is go in and do the exact same process that we did for the MP5. We'd make a default material, we would find the textures, make sure they're not transparent, you know, it'll show up as white, and bring it into your photo editing software, just for the color texture, of course. You would duplicate it a bunch of times until you have a texture that is solid and has all the color data, and then you would put that into the main color thing, and then what you would do is you'd bring in the normal map and then put that in, set it to 0.3 or 0.8 depending on your rendering that you're using for Blender, and then it's pretty much ready to go. I would also tweak a couple other things in the principled BSDF. Like with guns, I would recommend, like, let's go back to here, go into shading tab, focus on this MP5 real quick. And also, yeah, the guy is pink because I haven't textured him yet. But if we go back to this MP5, the reason why I like the principled BSDF is because you can change things like the roughness or the metallic values of the material very easily. And for this, we might want to turn up the metallic, and if we really wanted like a really chrome looking MP5, we could just do that. But I think the metallic's a really low value and roughness is pretty high. Well, maybe like a little bit of metallic, but with characters and stuff like eyeballs, you would turn the roughness down a lot and set, for most cases, you want metallic set to 0. And for character clothing, oh, excuse me, oh my god, I had some soda earlier. But for the character clothing, you would normally want it to be something along the lines of like a very high roughness, like 0.8 to 0.9, because, you know, clothing is a very rough matte material that's not very glossy. You know, if it is a glossy material, you might want to change that and make it that way. But I think that this is about it for this tutorial. Also, another thing about the characters is that the reason why we did and installed the add-on and did the XNALara XPS is because if we go to pose mode, the characters is ready to pose. You can pose them, put them in thumbnails for your videos, do all that. If you're going to use it for modding purposes, you might have to make a new skeleton, because exporting them out of Blender, I have not figured out a safe way to do that and keep the model and its rig intact. It's a little bit experimental, the add-on that I use for this. If you have any better ones, make sure to put it down in the description and I'll make an update video or something like that. Also, another thing, I think that's about it for this tutorial. I hope that you guys found this interesting. I know I was talking really fast. Maybe go back to the beginning, start playing the video at like 0.75 speed if I'm talking super fast. Another thing is that I set up a Patreon, and you guys, it'll be the last link in the description, I believe. You guys can go check that out, because I would really like to do what I'm doing, like YouTube and art and stuff, full time, and any support that I get is very welcome, and I am super grateful for. I don't even think I'll get any, but I just figured I'd have it there for the option, and because I wanna make my living on art, on doing commissions on YouTube, and I currently have zero income from any of that, and it's fine, it's whatever, and I just have a lot of fun making videos, and this is my first step trying to monetize that. There's not a ton of perks necessarily. You'll get a shout out at the end of my videos and stuff like that. Still, the tiers are a work in progress, so don't feel obligated at all to do it. I'm not going to make anything super exclusive to my Patreon. Not going to make anything. That's actually one of the main issues for me, because I can't think of anything to use for tiers, because I don't want to like restrict my regular viewers at all. But I think that I'll be uploading some free 3D models there sometime, and just feel free to check it out. I don't know. Also, really big deal, go to the Discord, okay? Lots of people, well, not really lots of people, but I would love for like a little community to start chit-chatting about Blender stuff and Call of Duty. And I just think that's really cool. I think that's the end of this video. I hope that you found it informative and interesting, and you learned something. And let me know what you make. Go to that Discord, and I have a whole section called it's like where you can show off your renders and stuff. Go there, show off what you make. Have a great day. Hope you're having a wonderful day or night wherever you may be, and adios.